This society that we live in is governed by two latent laws. You may not be aware of them, but it is absolutely there. It is the law of karma, and it is the law of grace. Karma is a law that we are all most familiar with. You hear it every day. Don't do that, or else karma's gonna get you. What goes around comes around. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The history of karma actually comes from a Babylonian king called Hammurabi. Many of us are familiar with the Code of Hammurabi. It was actually 238 laws that Hammurabi put together to govern his vast empire, the Babylonian Empire. And this was his way of being as fair as possible to all the people that he governed. So what are some of the most famous of some of these laws? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If you're still, we'll cut off your arm. One of the laws that I read that was actually very interesting was one that said, if you physically harm a pregnant woman and she miscarries, you have to pay that family the equivalent of $10,000. But now if in you harming her, she loses her child and her life, you would lose your first daughter. They would put her to death. So some of these laws were, some would say fair, some would say archaic, but it worked out for Hammurabi, King Hammurabi. It worked out so well that our current criminal justice system holds some of these laws. Hammurabi's image is actually etched onto the wall of the Supreme Court. He was that famous, y'all. What's today's version of Hammurabi's law? When somebody commits a crime, if they steal, what's going to happen? They're going to jail. Depending on how much they stole, they're going to prison. And they're probably going to be gone for a long time. They'll lose some of the things that they illegally acquired. If they murder somebody, they're 9 out of 10 times going to get the death penalty. Texas, our very famous state, has put to death so far 8 people. One most recently last week who lost his appeal. What did he do? He murdered somebody. So the law of karma was applied to him. He lost his life. The other law that a lot of us don't live by, and I'll backtrack a little bit, the law of karma is also tied to many religions. Hinduism, Judaism, Islam. A lot of this teachings in those religions have to do with karma. The 10 Commandments are all about karma. Okay? So now we fast forward to the law of grace. The law that many of us wish we lived by, but don't really live by. The law of grace is largely found in the teachings in Christianity by Jesus Christ. It's the law that says, if somebody smacks you, turn the other cheek. If somebody asks for your shirt, give them your whole clothing. These are laws that's very difficult in this society to live by. And we know our president doesn't even live by these laws. And he's a Christian conservative. I digress. So why is it hard to live by the law of grace? Well, our society would show you that to be graceful is to show weakness. I am the father of 2 daughters, and I have to say I don't live by this law at times. And in raising them, I try to teach them that, hey, look, if somebody pushes you, you push them back, especially if it's a boy. Why? Because we don't want them to be bullied, picked on, and we don't like to be bullied or picked on, even as adults. So it's hard for us to show grace. And I would say that's one of the things that actually shows true strength. The easy thing to do is for when somebody hits you, to hit them back. Somebody cuts you off on the freeway, what do? I'm going to chase them down and cut them off and give them a nice gesture. But it takes true strength to pick up a rock and put it down. These were values espoused by, like I said, not only Jesus Christ, but also people like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. Mahatma Gandhi almost single-handedly got India independence, not by fighting or throwing rocks, but through peaceful demonstrations. Martin Luther King did the same thing during the Civil Rights Movement. While Malcolm was saying, let's burn it down, let's blow it up, he said, let's just peacefully protest. So I ask you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, which laws do you live by? Is it the law of karma? Or is it the law of grace? And if it is the law of karma, be careful. Because it's the law of grace that means if you want anything to come back to you, let it be grace. Because it means that you didn't deserve it, but I gave it to you anyway. Thank you all very much.